Hey everyone, welcome to today's Explainer. So, today we're tackling a challenge pretty much all of us face at some point, our living spaces, and, well, all the stuff in them. If you've ever looked around your home and felt totally overrun by your own belongings, yeah, you are definitely not alone. We're going to dive into a specific methodology from the Learning is Easy Actually channel. We want to see if we can finally master organization without completely losing our minds in the process. We'll look at the core concepts they push for, but we're also going to take a really objective look at where these methods shine and where they might actually fall short. So, let's just jump right in.
Right. So, have you ever looked around your house and just felt this wave of absolute paralyzing panic? Like, you glance at the living room, it's a total mess. You think about the kitchen cabinets or your bedroom closets just bursting with who knows what. And you try to figure out how you're going to somehow dedicate an entire weekend to fixing your whole life in one sitting. You try to tackle everything at once, right? Running from room to room, pulling stuff out of boxes, and honestly creating an even bigger mess than when you started. Suddenly, you're just completely paralyzed by the sheer volume of it all. And, this is especially true for modern, high-consumption households where things just pile up so fast. The sheer volume makes this all-at-once approach incredibly overwhelming. It's exhausting literally just thinking about it.
So, here is the absolutely crucial takeaway. We have got to stop looking at it this way. Organization is not some Herculean task that you have to endure once a year. We so often fall into this trap, treating organization like this monumental, punishing chore because we let things get out of hand. But the source material makes a really vital argument here by introducing what we can call the micro-wins methodology. Because think about it. When we view organization as this massive, draining event, this huge mountain we have to climb, we naturally avoid it. We put it off until we absolutely can't stand the mess anymore. The micro-wins approach? It challenges that entirely.
To make this work, we really need a total paradigm shift. Think about the old way, trying to organize the whole room. Or worse, your entire life. It's broad, it's vague, and frankly, it is a guaranteed recipe for burnout. Now, contrast that with the new way presented in our source, organizing one tiny thing, like literally just your desk. We are shifting entirely from the macro to the micro here. Instead of trying to tackle the whole shebang at once, you start incredibly small. You aren't organizing your life, you are just organizing a desk. That's it. It completely lowers the stakes and basically removes that paralysis that sets in when you bite off way more than you can chew.
Okay, so let's walk through how this actually builds into an executable plan. The methodology breaks down into 3 super straightforward steps. Step 1, pick one tiny thing. Step 2, clear it off and put things where they belong. Step 3, call it a win. Yep, that is the entire strategy for your day. It's immediate, it's highly actionable, and most importantly, it's calming. You do this, and you ask yourself, doesn't that feel better already? You've taken that first step, and the source emphasizes that this single step, no matter how tiny, is a victory totally worth celebrating.
Now, once you have that first win under your belt, the whole idea is to leverage that momentum. The very next day, you don't suddenly jump back to trying to organize the whole house. Nope. You just tackle another small thing. Great targets for day 2 or 3 might be, say, your sock drawer, or maybe that dreaded pile of mail sitting on the kitchen counter. These are distinct, contained little spaces, and by focusing on these bite-sized targets, you create this awesome snowball effect. And we do need to bring in a critical perspective here. We have to watch out for the risk of organized procrastination. While momentum is great, we have to ask ourselves, is organizing a sock drawer actually moving the needle? Or is it just a psychological trick we use to avoid tackling the really high-stakes, major projects? Because sometimes, let's be real, we busy ourselves with the small, comfortable tasks just so we don't have to face the overwhelming hoarding situation out in the garage.
The source relies heavily on this little-by-little approach. The argument is that these tiny, daily victories stack up, and before you even realize what's happening, your environment has fundamentally changed. The chaos recedes, and this great sense of order and calm just takes over. But again, we have to play devil's advocate here and ask, does little by little actually work for high-consumption households? It's a pretty significant limitation to think about. If Amazon packages, new clothes, and daily clutter are flowing into the house at a faster rate than your micro-wins are clearing them out, well, the math simply doesn't add up. The little-by-little approach is powerful, no doubt, but it really requires a baseline where the inflow isn't outpacing the outflow.
Which leads us to a really great line from the source material. It's like magic, but without the wand and the glitter. I love that. They frame this beautifully to capture how effortless the transformation can feel when the micro-wins methodology is really humming along. Because you aren't spending back-breaking weekends hauling heavy trash bags out of the garage, the change feels almost invisible on a day-to-day basis.
But it's definitely worth noting that true magic usually requires a much deeper psychological shift in how you actually view your possessions. If you don't change your fundamental relationship with the things you buy and keep, that glitter is going to fade very quickly, and the clutter will inevitably return.
So, the core philosophy we're unpacking today is that organization is a habit. It's all about small, sustainable changes that actually spark joy in your everyday life, rather than treating it as some punishing annual event. It's a continuous, gentle, daily practice. Yet, we still have to address the limitations of habit forming alone. While small habits absolutely can spark joy and build momentum, they eventually hit a brick wall if a home lacks structural storage solutions. I mean, a great sorting habit cannot fix a fundamental lack of shelving or closet space, right? Sometimes the issue isn't just behavioral, it's structural. You literally just need a physical place for things to go.
All right, let's assume you've built the habit, you have the storage, and you've successfully transformed your space. How do you actually keep it that way? We have to look at the maintenance phase. Traditional spring cleaning is notorious for being utterly exhausting. It requires massive amounts of time and energy to purge everything you've let pile up over the last 12 months. But the Source offers a much more sustainable alternative to maintain that baseline we talked about earlier, the one-in, one-out rule.
They playfully introduced this one-in, one-out rule as spring cleaning's cooler, low-maintenance cousin. And it is a highly approachable concept. Basically, for every new item you bring into your home, whether it's a new shirt, a new book, or even just a new coffee mug, an old item has to leave. One in, one out. Simple as that. By adopting this strategy, you ensure that the volume of stuff in your life stays perfectly balanced. It's a direct counter to that high consumption problem we mentioned. You prevent the massive, exhausting purge by ensuring the clutter never even has a chance to accumulate in the first place.
Which brings us to the end of today's explainer and turns the question directly over to you. What tiny thing will you organize today? Not tomorrow, not this weekend, today. Find your one tiny thing, clear it off, put things where they belong, and call it a massive win. But as you do, keep our analysis in mind. Ask yourself, is tackling that single drawer the first real step to a true transformation, or is it just a comfortable way to avoid the bigger mess? Are you actually addressing the inflow of stuff or just rearranging it? Find your micro win, experience that spark of calm, but always, always keep an eye on the macro picture.